Imagine waking up in a stranger's bed, with no memory of how you got there. Your clothes, gone. Your trust, shattered. And worse. The people who did it to you, were the same ones who swore they loved you. Kate Ives never planned to disappear. She had dreams once, simple dreams. A quiet life, a good job, maybe one day a family of her own. But dreams are fragile things, and betrayal. That can break a person beyond repair. It all started 6 years ago, on a night that was supposed to change everything, and it did. Just not in the way Kate had hoped. The party was loud. Music pumped through the walls of the luxury penthouse in downtown Lagos. Laughter echoed. Champagne flowed like water. Everyone was dressed to impress, tuxedos, gowns, heels clicking against polished floors. But Kate wasn't there to party. She had been invited by someone she trusted, her best friend, Linda. And tonight, she was supposed to meet someone important. Mr. Harry Okonkwo. The man behind one of the biggest real estate empires in the country. Powerful. Reserved. Mysterious. And at 38, still the most eligible bachelor in the city. Kate, just 25 at the time, had been working as a junior architect in his company. Talented. Quiet. Focused. She had no connections, no rich family name. Just pure talent and a quiet fire. And Harry had noticed her. He wasn't the kind of man to flirt or make scenes. But he saw Kate in meetings, in blueprints, in her ideas. There was a softness in his eyes when he looked at her. And when Linda mentioned that Harry himself had asked about her, Kate's heart had fluttered. But she kept it professional. Always. Until that night. Kate remembered the beginning clearly. The clink of her wine glass. The soft music. Linda's arm wrapped around hers, whispering, "Tonight's your night, girl. Harry's gonna be here. Just relax." And he was. Mr. Harry arrived late, dressed in all black, with a quiet confidence that made people move out of the way. His eyes found hers across the room, and for a second, just a second, Kate forgot to breathe. They spoke for only 15 minutes. Just enough for him to tell her he admired her work. Just enough for his hand to brush against hers. Just enough to plant a seed of something unspoken. And then, everything went black. Kate woke up the next morning in a hotel room. Her dress was on the floor. Her phone was gone. A dull ache pulsed in her head. She sat up, dazed, confused, and scared. Panic set in. What happened? Where was she? Where was Linda? She stumbled to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror, her makeup smeared, her eyes red. And then she saw it, a mark on her shoulder. It wasn't love. It wasn't passion. It was a setup. Her instinct screamed. She pulled on her dress and ran barefoot out of the room, her breath short, heart pounding. She found her way to a street and flagged a taxi with trembling hands. Where to? The driver asked. She didn't know. Anywhere but here. 2 days later, the photos surfaced. Grainy pictures. Kate, stumbling drunk. A man, faceless, shirtless. Her dress half open. And the worst part. The pictures were sent to the company HR anonymous tip. Kate was called in. Questioned. Accused. And when she tried to explain, her voice trembled. I don't remember. I swear, I don't remember anything after the wine. But no one believed her. Not even Mr. Harry. He looked at her with cold eyes. You embarrassed this company. Sir, please, she whispered. You were promising, Kate. But now, you're a liability. He dismissed her without blinking. No investigation. No second chances. Her career, gone in one morning. She went to Linda's apartment, desperate for answers. But Linda wasn't surprised. Instead, she stood there with her arms folded and a mocking smirk. "You really thought you could be with someone like Harry? Please. You're just a nobody." Kate's stomach turned. "You did this," she whispered, eyes wide. Linda leaned in. "Next time, stay in your lane." Kate ran. Again. This time, she didn't stop. For 2 months, she stayed in hiding. Her bank account was frozen. Her number, blocked. She was jobless, homeless, and broken. And then, the morning sickness started. At first, she thought it was stress. But then came the nausea. The dizzy spells. The strange cravings. She borrowed money and bought a pregnancy test from a small kiosk in a rural town far from Lagos. 2 lines. She dropped to the floor, shaking. No, no, no. But the truth stared back at her. Clear. Loud. Unforgiving. She was pregnant. And she didn't even know who the father was. For a long time, Kate didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared at the wall of her small room and wondered how life could crumble so fast. Then one day, she whispered, "I will not let this destroy me." And she meant it. Kate changed her name. Moved to a small coastal town. Found work cleaning at a local clinic. She rented a tiny room with a leaky roof and slept on a mattress on the floor. 9 months later, she gave birth to a boy. He was beautiful. Brown skin. Sharp jawline. And eyes. Mr. Harry's eyes. Big, deep, unreadable. The moment she held him, she felt her strength return. She named him Ethan. And promised him the world. Years passed. Kate worked during the day and studied at night. She never told anyone her real name or her past. She built a new life, quiet, honest, and safe. But every time Ethan smiled, she saw the man she hated most. Mr. Harry. And yet, she couldn't hate him. Not completely. Because deep down, a small part of her still remembered the way he looked at her that night before everything went wrong. And it hurt. Ethan turned 5, and Kate began to notice things. He was brilliant. Calm. Observant. Like he was older than his age. One night, after reading him a bedtime story, Ethan looked at her and asked, "Mommy, where is my daddy?" Kate froze. Her heart cracked in places she thought had healed. I don't know," she whispered. But that was a lie. And Ethan knew it. Then, one rainy morning, something strange happened. A letter arrived. No sender. No name. Just her current address, handwritten. Inside was a note. "You can't hide forever. He's looking for you." Kate's hands trembled. Who sent this? And who was it he? Was it Mr. Harry? How could he have found her? She burned the letter. But the message stayed in her mind. That night, she sat by Ethan's bed and watched him sleep. His little chest rose and fell. His lips parted, peaceful. She brushed his hair gently and whispered, "I've kept you safe for 6 years. But maybe it's time to stop running." Kate packed a small bag the next morning. She bought 2 bus tickets, 1 adult, 1 child, and took a deep breath as the old vehicle pulled out of the terminal. Destination, Lagos. The city that broke her. The city where it all began. 3 days later, she stood in front of the glass building she once walked in. Taller than she remembered. Colder. But she didn't come to beg. She came for the truth. And when the elevator doors opened on the top floor, and she stepped into the office of Mr. Harry himself, the man behind the desk stood up slowly. His eyes widened. His jaw tightened. And then he said, in a voice filled with disbelief and rage, "You The silence in the room felt louder than traffic. Kate stood still, eyes locked with the man she hadn't seen in 6 years. Harry Okonkwo. He looked older. Sharper jaw. Deeper eyes. Still tall. Still intimidating. But his voice? Cold as ever. "You have some nerve showing up here," he said. Kate's heart thumped against her ribs. But she didn't flinch. "I didn't come to fight," she replied, her voice steady but quiet. Harry narrowed his eyes. "What do you want?" Kate swallowed. This was harder than she thought. There was a misunderstanding 6 years ago. "I need you to hear me out." Harry laughed, bitter and sharp. 6 years ago, you disappeared. No calls. No explanation. You embarrassed me, personally and professionally. And now you walk in here like nothing happened. She stayed silent. Because how do you explain that the life you had was ripped from you in one night? How do you tell a man he's a father, when he might still think you betrayed him? Harry's assistant knocked softly. "Sir, should I?" He waved her off. "Leave." When the door shut, he leaned back in his chair. "Talk. You have 5 minutes." Kate took a deep breath. "That night wasn't what you thought." "Oh," he scoffed. "The picture said otherwise." "I was drugged," she said. "I didn't drink more than 1 glass of wine. But I blacked out. I woke up in a hotel room. Naked. Alone." His expression didn't change. "I tried to tell someone, but no one listened," she continued. "I was fired without even being given a chance to explain." Harry's fingers tapped the desk slowly. "And I'm just supposed to believe this after all these years?" She nodded. "You don't have to believe anything. But I needed to face you. Because there's something else." Harry raised an eyebrow. Kate reached into her bag and pulled out a small photo, worn at the edges. She slid it across the table. He picked it up, barely glancing, until his eyes landed on the child. 5 years old. Thick curly hair. Brown skin. But the eyes. His eyes. Deep. Intense. Unmistakable. Harry looked up, face pale. "What is this?" Kate's voice cracked. "His name is Ethan. He's yours." Silence. Not a sound. Just the air conditioning humming in the background. Harry stared at the photo like it might speak. Then, finally, "You're lying." "I'm not," Kate said softly. "I found out 2 months after everything happened. I didn't even know who the father was at first." He stood abruptly. "So you think you can just walk in here, hand me a picture, and ruin my life all over again?" Kate felt her eyes sting. "I didn't come to ruin anything. I came because Ethan deserves to know where he came from." Harry paced behind his chair. Anger. Confusion. Doubt. He didn't want to believe her. But those eyes, he saw them every morning in his own mirror. Still, the walls around his heart had been built brick by brick since that scandal. He'd lost trust in everyone. And here she was, stirring up everything he buried. "Get out," he said. Kate blinked. "What?" "I said get out. Now." She opened her mouth to speak, but stopped. She grabbed the photo and turned toward the door. But before walking out, she said, "You don't have to believe me. But he's real. And he's yours." The door shut behind her. Harry sat back down. Hands on his face. Breathing uneven. Could it be true, he muttered to himself. Outside, Kate stood in the lobby, her body trembling. She had done it. She told him. And he'd shut her out. Just like last time. But at least, now he knew. That night, Kate and Ethan stayed at a cheap motel on the outskirts of the city. Ethan sat on the bed, playing with his toy car. "Mommy," he said, "was that my daddy?" Kate paused, holding back tears. "Yes." Ethan looked up. "Is he nice?" She hesitated. "I don't know yet, baby. But he's strong. And smart. Like you." "Will I see him again?" "I hope so." The next morning, someone knocked on their door. Kate opened it carefully, and froze. Harry. Standing in a grey suit, holding a small envelope. "I want a DNA test," he said. Kate nodded. "Fine. No yelling. No insults. Just business." They went straight to a private clinic. Swabs were taken. No drama. Then silence. Waiting. 3 days passed. Kate sat in a park with Ethan while he fed pigeons. Her phone rang. It was Harry. "You were telling the truth." Kate's heart stopped. "I need to see him. Today." They met at the park again. Ethan looked up at the tall man approaching. Harry stared at his son for the first time. And something inside him cracked. He knelt down slowly. "Hi." Ethan blinked. "Hi. I'm Harry. You're my daddy." He nodded. "I think so." Ethan smiled and reached out his hand. "Nice to meet you." And just like that, something began. Not trust. Not forgiveness. But something. Kate watched from a distance, emotions tangled in her chest. Part of her was proud. Another part. Terrified. Because she knew what came next. Later that night, Harry asked to speak with her privately. "I want joint custody," he said. Kate's eyes widened. "What?" "He's my son. I miss 5 years of his life. I won't miss any more. Harry, I've raised him alone. He doesn't know you yet. You can't just..." "I have lawyers. I can fight this." Kate stood, voice rising. "So now it's war?" "No," he said, softer now. "I just want to be in his life." She sighed, looking down. "I'm scared, Harry. I don't know what's real with you. You didn't believe me then. You don't trust me now." He looked at her, pain in his eyes. "I don't trust easily. But maybe I want to try." They agreed on supervised visits. Harry started small. Ice cream. Story time. Walks in the park. Ethan warmed up fast. He loved asking questions, showing drawings, hugging tightly. Harry wasn't perfect. But he was trying. And Kate. She watched everything. Guarded. Wary. But deep down, something old and soft began to stir. Then came the shock. One evening, Harry showed up with papers. "What's this?" Kate asked. "A full private school scholarship. Best school in Lagos. I already paid in advance." Kate looked up. "Why?" "Because he deserves the best. But you barely know him." "I'm trying, Kate. Let me." She didn't answer. Because part of her wanted to say thank you. And another part feared what came next. And what came next was worse than she imagined. One afternoon, Kate returned home from errands and found her door wide open. She rushed in. "Ethan, gone." She panicked, calling his name. Then her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "You took something that wasn't yours. Now we are taking him back." Attached was a photo. Ethan. Blindfolded. Crying. Kate screamed. Kate's scream echoed down the hallway. Her feet moved on their own, searching every room, every closet, every corner. No Ethan. She dialed Harry. Hands trembling. Heart racing. "Hello," he answered immediately. They took him. Kate cried. He's gone, Harry. What? Who? She didn't even know. All she had was that text, and the photo of her son, blindfolded. Harry's voice dropped. I'm on my way. Within minutes, Harry's black SUV screeched outside her building. He jumped out, no tie, no jacket, just raw panic on his face. Tell me everything, he demanded. Kate showed him the message. His jaw clenched. This is a threat. A planned one. Tears ran down her face. They said I took something from them. But I don't know what. Harry stared at the message again. Something about it clicked. Then he whispered, this isn't about me, it's about you. They went straight to the police. But the officers moved slow. Paperwork. Protocols. Questions. Kate screamed at one of them, my son is missing. Do something. The officer glanced at Harry, recognizing him instantly. Sir, we'll put in a trace on the number. But this will take time. Time was the one thing Kate didn't have. That night, Kate didn't sleep. Harry stayed too, pacing, calling in favors, whispering into phones. They both sat in silence at 3 a.m., coffee untouched, nerves fried. Then Kate whispered, I think I know who did this. Harry looked up. And for the first time, Kate told him everything. She told him about the night of the party. About waking up alone. About the job termination. About Linda, her former best friend, and the cold smirk on her face. She did this to me, Kate said. She set me up. And now, I think she's back. Harry stood. Where is she now? I don't know, Kate replied. Last I heard, she was in South Africa. Harry paced. What if she never left? By morning, Harry had pulled strings and found a private investigator. Within hours, they got a name, Linda Durojoye, back in Lagos for over a month. Living under the radar. No social media. No known address. But she was spotted recently in Lekki, near the harbor. Kate gripped the table. She has my son. Harry turned to her. Then we go get him. They arrived in Lekki by nightfall. Harry's investigator had tracked Linda to an abandoned estate on the waterfront, a massive property once owned by a corrupt senator. They parked down the road. Harry handed Kate a phone. You stay here. I'll go in first. Kate shook her head. No. He's my son. I'm going. Harry didn't argue. They moved in together. Quietly. Slowly. Harry had a licensed weapon, tucked in his waistband. Kate carried only fear and fire. Inside, the estate smelled like dust and rotting wood. Broken tiles. Torn curtains. Silence. Then, the soft sound. A child crying. Ethan. Kate almost ran, but Harry grabbed her hand. Wait, he whispered. Footsteps echoed above. Voices. A woman's laugh. Pathetic girl thought she could outsmart me. Now she'll come crawling. It was Linda. They crept upstairs, past the broken chandelier and faded paintings. Behind one door, they heard him. Ethan, whimpering. Kate almost burst in, but again, Harry stopped her. We don't know who else is here. He dialed the police with one hand, while slowly pushing the door open with the other. Inside, Ethan sat on a dusty mattress. Blindfold removed. Hands tied in front. No visible bruises. Just scared. Ethan, Kate gasped. His head shot up. Mommy. She ran to him, untied his wrist, hugging him tight. Tears soaked her shirt. But just as Harry turned to secure the room, a voice from the doorway. Well, look who finally showed up. Linda. wearing all black, gun in hand, face smug. I knew that brat would bring you running. Kate stepped in front of Ethan, shielding him. Why, Linda? Why are you doing this? Linda rolled her eyes. Oh please. Don't play innocent. She stepped closer, voice like poison. You stole my future. Harry was supposed to be mine. You were just the intern. Harry frowned. I was never yours, Linda. She hissed. But I could have been. Until she came along with her innocent eyes and perfect designs. You promoted her. You ignored me. You humiliated me. Kate's voice cracked. So you drugged me. Ruined my life. Linda raised the gun. Call it justice. Suddenly, bang. A shot rang out. But not from Linda. Harry had fired first, hitting Linda in the shoulder. She screamed, dropping her weapon. Police sirens wailed in the distance. It was over in minutes. Linda was arrested on the spot. Charged with kidnapping, assault, attempted extortion, and years of fraud uncovered in Harry's company records she'd manipulated before she left. Ethan was safe. Kate was shaken. And Harry? He looked like he'd aged 10 years. Back at Kate's flat, Ethan clung to her all night. Mommy, are the bad guys gone? She kissed his forehead. Yes, baby. They'll never hurt you again. 3 days later, she met Harry at a quiet cafe. They sat across from each other, no lawyers, no guards. Just two parents, bonded by a storm. Kate stirred her tea. Thank you for believing me this time. Harry sighed. I should have done that 6 years ago. She nodded. Yeah. You should have. Silence. Then Harry spoke again. I want to do better. For him. For you. Kate looked up. What does that mean? It means I want to try again. From scratch. No lawyers. No threats. Just us. Co-parents. Maybe more. One day. She didn't smile. Not yet. But she said, let's start with Ethan. Harry nodded. Deal. For the first time in years. Kate Ives could breathe. Ethan was safe. Linda was in custody. And the nightmare that chased her from city to city had finally collapsed. But peace. Peace felt unfamiliar. Because now, there was something else in the air. Harry. Not as a boss. Not as a threat. But as a father. It started small. One sunny morning, Kate opened the door and found a gift on the porch. No name. No note. Just a toy rocket, the exact one Ethan had pointed at through a shop window the day before. Did Daddy bring this? Ethan asked, eyes wide. Kate nodded slowly. Maybe. The next week, Harry invited them to his estate. Just for lunch. Nothing more. Kate hesitated, but Ethan was too excited. And when they arrived at the massive gates, her son's eyes sparkled like he was walking into a castle. Is this where Daddy lives? He gasped. Harry stood at the door, wearing jeans and a plain t-shirt, a rare sight. Welcome, he said. Kate stepped in carefully, like a guest at a stranger's wedding. But Ethan... He ran ahead, giggling. Harry had hired a chef, set out games, even built a tiny art corner in the lounge. This is a lot, Kate said under her breath. Harry shrugged. I'm trying. She nodded. Trying is good. Just don't buy his love. Harry looked her in the eyes. I'm not. I'm buying time. And time. I've already lost too much of. As Ethan played, Harry watched him. Every movement. Every laugh. It was surreal, watching a miniature version of himself running through the garden. Does he always talk this much? He asked, chuckling. Kate laughed for the first time in days. Oh, that's him being shy. Wait till he starts asking you about dinosaurs and space toilets. Harry smiled. He's smart. I can tell. Kate looked away. He gets that from me. Harry laughed again, gently. The air between them softened. Weeks passed. Harry became more than just a visitor. He became a presence. Not always perfect. Sometimes awkward. But present. He started picking Ethan up from school once a week. They played soccer on Sundays. Video calls became routine. And slowly, Ethan stopped calling him Mr. Harry. One day, unprompted, Ethan said, "Bye, Daddy." Harry froze. Then whispered, "Bye, son." Kate overheard from the kitchen. Her heart swelled and broke at the same time. That night, she sat alone in her room, watching Ethan's old baby videos on her cracked phone. She remembered nights when she rocked him to sleep alone. When he had fevers and no one to call. When she cried quietly so he wouldn't hear. Now, Harry was here. And he was doing the things she used to wish for. So why did it feel unfair? The next morning, Harry asked her out. Not like a date. Just coffee. No pressure. Kate didn't say yes immediately. She needed space to think. To breathe. But something was changing. Not just with Harry, but with Ethan too. He was happier. More confident. He asked more questions. Did you love Daddy before? Kate blinked. What makes you ask that? You look at him like you know a secret. She smiled. Maybe I do. Then, one afternoon, Kate visited Ethan's school to drop off forgotten homework. And what she saw made her freeze. Ethan, cornered by two boys. Bigger than him. Laughing. "Your mommy's a liar," one shouted. "My daddy said your mommy was fired from a big job 'cause she did something bad." Kate stormed over, grabbing Ethan's hand. "We are leaving." She took him home early, holding back tears the entire drive. That night, she called Harry. He answered on the first ring. "Do you know what people are saying about me?" Silence. "I didn't know it got to the school," he said eventually. Kate's voice shook. "Ethan was bullied. Because of me. Because of something I didn't do. I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't erase this, Harry. You let it happen. You didn't defend me back then, and you're still not doing it." He stayed quiet. "Say something," she snapped. "I'm trying to make things right, Kate. But the past, it's not easy to fix overnight." She hung up. The next day, she kept Ethan home. They built puzzles, read stories, and watched cartoons. She needed the day. So did he. That weekend, Harry knocked on her door. He held an envelope in one hand. A brown file in the other. "What's this?" she asked coldly. "I want to make something public," he said. Inside the envelope, a signed statement. A formal apology. From Harry Okonkwo, CEO. Stating that Kate Ives had been wrongfully terminated due to internal sabotage. That she had nothing to do with the 6-year-old scandal. "I'm giving this to the press tomorrow," he said. Kate's breath caught. "This could ruin your image," she whispered. "I don't care. You deserve your name back." She stared at him. This wasn't the man she remembered from 6 years ago. This man was different. Still powerful. Still proud. But softer. Braver. Kinder. That night, after Ethan fell asleep, Kate called her sister in Benin for the first time in years. "I might finally be okay," she said. But peace is always followed by a storm. And this one came, quietly. A week later, a message arrived on Kate's phone. Unknown number, you think he's changed. LOL. Check the files in his study drawer. Folder marked Ives. Confidential. You'll thank me later. Her heart dropped. She ignored it at first. Then curiosity crept in. The next day, while dropping Ethan off at Harry's estate, she stayed behind under the excuse of helping him find his missing science book. He left to check the garage. And she walked into his study. Her hands shook as she opened the drawer. There it was. Ives. Confidential. Inside. Photos. Old ones. Kate. At the party. Entering the hotel. Medical reports. Bank statements. And a report from a private investigator dated just 2 months ago. Subject: Kate Ives. Tracking movements. Known associates. Alias used: Ada Obi. She felt sick. He had been watching her. Even before she came back. Even before she told him about Ethan. Harry returned moments later. And the look on her face said it all. "You lied to me," she whispered. He froze. "Kate. You had me followed. I needed to know the truth. Before you showed up, I was already looking." "You don't trust me," she said, voice hollow. "I didn't. Then. But I do now." Tears burned her eyes. "You never stopped treating me like a problem to solve." "Kate, wait." But she was already walking away.